All right, so coming off my show today, the topic was divorce is destruction. Absolutely, I believe that. I believe my panel today and everybody that came up helped to make a good case in answering the questions on that topic. And I wanted to kind of expound on something, that's a little more personal as to why I believe divorce is not an option and why people should not consider it. And I really get tired. I'm not going to lie to you. I get tired of the women that come up and yell abuse, abuse, abuse. Well, men get abused too. We don't talk about that. So those are the outliers. Those are the exceptions. That's not what's happening in most cases. All right. People have to state the reason that they're leaving, and they're not stating that primarily. So let's talk about what's prevalent, what's common in these situations. Stop moving to the outliers to make the case. You heard me say that people love living in the gray area. You do that so you can make an excuse. There is no excuse. The Trigger Mike Show, our aim is to take away all of your excuses and make you have the hard conversation. That's what I'm trying to make you do. Instead of talking about why you want to leave or why you left, how about talking about the mistakes that you made? How about talking about your impatience and that thought you had a few years ago that started a few years ago about you regretting your decision to leave in the first place? That's what my show is about. I want to talk about those things. What's hard to talk about. What people don't expect you to say. We know what you're going to say. We know you're going to stay on code and say he did something he really didn't do, or exaggerate a circumstance to make it seem like you had grounds to leave him. As I said in the show, there's almost nothing that equates to you leaving your spouse because of the damage you're going to cause. And if children are involved, well, goodness gracious, pretty much nothing. Virtually nothing equates to you leaving your spouse because of what you're going to do to them. But let me talk about what I wanted to talk about really quickly. I'm afraid. People don't use that word. I don't think you hear men use that word often. I'm afraid to leave my spouse. Not just because of the kids. Not just because I'm going to be disgraced in my family and my culture as a divorcee. I'm afraid to leave my wife, or would be afraid of our family breaking apart, because she is my family. This is the original structure that I built, the one that I purpose built to have children with. This is my identity. That's really what I'm saying. This family that I've built is my identity. These kids look just like me. Me and her don't share any chromosome, no autosomal DNA. But we together created two beings that have 50% each our autosomal DNA. She is my family now through that connection, through those children. That family is my identity. I am afraid to lose someone with whom I share so much of my identity with. Do you understand? People don't really look at it this way until it's too late. Most of the complaints that I've gathered of people have, when they start to talk about, they start to use all type of words to try to distract from the fact that they just missed their spouse, that they divorced or left or separated from. You're basically saying that for the thrill of something else, or I tried this and it didn't work out. I took a chance and it didn't work, and now I've lost my identity. I see that all the time in regards to divorce and separation. You're thinking the grass is greener. You're thinking there's greener pastures. You're thinking there's more money or more sex or something. But you didn't realize how much of your identity was rooted in this person. Now you're just an empty shell of a man or a woman. You're an empty shell because your identity is gone. I exercise foresight, at least try to. In most facets of my life, I try to think how I'm going to feel. Sometimes how I'm going to make other people feel. if I behave or act a certain way, if I do certain things. And I can tell you right now, without still being married, if I lose my wife, I'm going to lose my identity. I love being this person I am. I love being in the house with my children. I love giving them baths, sitting while their mom read bedtime stories. I ain't gonna cap. I don't read a bunch of them. Okay, she reads to them. She does all that. She reads with them, teaches them words and phonics. I rarely do that. But I love to sit and watch and glow over the family I created. That is my identity. This is why I say divorce is not an option. To go on and create multiple situations, multiple baby mamas, to me that's equivalent of having a split personality on purpose. You have to compartmentalize your time, your attitude, your emotions to all these different houses. And the worst part about it, and this is why I call it a split personality situation, each of these women can put you in a different mood over your children. I don't want that. Not for you. For those of you who already have it, hopefully you get to a place where you can get good and you don't have to deal with those circumstances, but that's what I call it. These women want to drag your emotions left and right because they control, per government regulation, most of the situation when it involves children. I do not want to have that type of split personality thing going on. Even if it's a situation where she left and I got remarried, I don't feel like I could be my happiest self still having ties to another household where my children are. So people got to think about stuff like this, man. If you exercise enough foresight to know what divorce can do to you and how it can destroy your life and put you in financial ruin and ruin your credit and have you file in bankruptcy and make you a less valuable option for other people to marry, you'll realize that it's just not worth it. I know that I'm talking to more women than I am talking to men because men primarily don't leave relationships or marriages. But ladies, it's not good for you either. It doesn't make you an attractive option to dudes. That dude you're banging is going to leave you. He ain't gonna marry you. That's what the statistics say. Very few of you have a chance at a substantive marital situation that you had if you get divorced. So think about that. Divorce is not an option. We're not going to live in the gray area. I understand what can happen, but we don't teach from that narrative. We teach from what's black and white. You will ruin yourself. Remember, it's not an option. Divorce is destruction. Trigger Mike out.